Hello.
Hey, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Good to see you.
You too.
All right, just let me know when you're settled.
Okay.
You good?
Yeah.
All right. You got some new scenery there. That's cool. Good day.
Oh, the couch.
Yeah, it's nice. So again, good day to you.
You too.
All right. So we're meeting on different days now. This happens to be Sunday, September 17th, 2023. Of course, for the audience's sake, I am instructor Benjamin Bilal, and this is my primo learner. He's a junior learner of Nunetics, and his name is MAHDI. That's all you need to know. So I'm going to go straight into my notes for this week, and hopefully we're going to have a fun time learning something that I think we spoke on maybe a few months ago, maybe last year. I'm not sure. But it's going to be dealing with the word human. All right. So let me bring up my notes. Hold on one moment. So we're going to be talking about the subject Mahdi, that would be you, learns the meaning of human. Now, this is a very old word in English, and it has come to mean several things, but it has also strayed away from the original meaning that was intended to be understood when people would see or read this word. So we're going to be talking about that. First, we're going to examine the meaning of human as it's given in the online etymology dictionary that most people have become familiar with now. Just Google online the word etymology, etymology dictionary, and you'll come across this meaning that I'm about to present. So I'm going to ask you to begin reading the meaning for human and man. And as you can see, the word man is the second part of the word hue man. And we'll get into what the hue part means before we conclude. Any questions?
Nope.
Okie doke. Let's get this linguistic party started, as I like to say. Go right ahead and start reading.
Mid 15th century, mid 15th century.
Mhm.
Human, humane, human from the old French humane, humain.
All right. So from this point, just read the bolded words. Those are the only ones we need.
Okay. Of or belonging to man, humane, philanthropic, philanthropic, kind, gentle, polite, learned, refined, civilized.
Okay, that's all we need for now. Let's go back to the word that is to be properly pronounced philanthropic. Say it like that. All right. Do you know what that means? Have you heard that word before?
No.
Okay. In a short sentence, it means somebody who loves to give. Got it?
Wisdom? Oh, never
No,
mind.
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking philosophy, right? You're looking at the root word.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, Sophie would be the word that you're looking for. Philo means love, the love of something. Got it?
Mhm.
Okay. So philanthropic is the love of giving. People who give just because they love to give, not necessarily because they're going to get something back. They just love the pleasure of other people receiving things that they need. Okay. Would you consider yourself to be philanthropic?
Yeah.
Give me an example of your philanthropy.
Doing work for my mother.
Give me an example.
Oh, well, never mind because she gives me money for that. I mean, I still do it, but
Mhm.
um,
What are you doing for other people that you really like doing, that you get pleasure out of doing?
Making them laugh.
Say it again.
Making them laugh.
Yeah, making them laugh. Yeah, that's giving them something, especially if they've been a little bit down, right? Or sad or melancholy. Another word that means sad or
Wait,
worried.
what?
Go ahead.
The love of giving love.
You said the love of giving love.
Yeah.
Oh, that might be a new one in the dictionary now. I've never heard that put
Philo,
like that. Philo, philo,
philo,
huh? Oh, philophile. Okay. Now, just to make a correction on something I said earlier, or an adjustment, not a correction. Philo means love, but you mentioned the Sophie part of it. Sophie is the part that means wisdom. So philosophy is probably the word you were thinking about, which is the love of wisdom. Got that?
Something burns downstairs. Why are you not in the class?
excuse me.
You back?
Yep.
Okay. So I was explaining to you philosophy, with philo being love of and Sophie being wisdom, the love of wisdom. That might have been what you were trying to reference earlier. All right. So let's get into these meanings for these words. Again, everybody who is a human being, if you ask them, are they a human being? What do you think their answer would be?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. But then if you ask them right behind that, what is a human being? What is this thing that you know that you are? What is it? Explain it to me. What would they say?
I mean, it depends on who it is.
The average person.
I mean, the average person.
The average person, your friend or your relative or the guy in the grocery store. I mean, whoever you know, whoever you have a little bit of a relationship with, who you speak to. You tell them, I have a homework assignment,
A
and the homework,
godly person or a godly
uh,
person?
it doesn't matter. It can be a person who believes in God. It can be a person who never mentions God. It doesn't matter. They
Well, if
all
it's
of
like,
them are
let's say,
all of them are going to say that they're human, right?
yes, if let's
Okay.
say if it was a somebody like an ungodly person that would just believe that we evolved from monkeys, we would say we're descendants from monkeys. We evolved and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So how would they describe being a human, even if they believe they were descended from a monkey? What's the difference between a monkey and a human?
We're more evolved. We're smarter.
Okay, that's what they would say.
It's like refined oil or something.
Okay. But what makes that distinction? Just being smart?
No, our back, tail, fur, stuff like that. Our faces just different now.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying the physical construction of a human's body is what makes it different than the physical construction of an ape's body, and that's what makes us different.
And our mind, we think different.
Okay, on what level?
What level? Like,
How do we think differently from a gorilla? Does a gorilla have a
do we
family?
have?
Does a gorilla have a family?
Yes.
Do you believe it loves its family? You ever see a gorilla trying to protect its baby?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Um, so what's the difference? I mean, humans do that also.
We, so now, well, monkeys can't just invent something. The monkeys can't, make a gun or something like that, and they think differently from us. They only think food, water, carry on your lineage.
Good. All right. So what they're thinking about has limitations, or what they are able to express. Let's put it that way. I can't say they're thinking about it necessarily, but what they're able to express, you're saying has limits. and the human being is not bound by those same limits?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd agree.
we're just like more evolved, I guess.
I'd agree. Yeah. You see that word that we were talking about earlier, philanthropic?
Mhm.
And I told you that it meant the love for giving. Do you think that giving is just to people of that person's ethnic group or that person's race? Does that make you
No,
philanthropic? Go ahead.
there's no really perimeter. It just goes to giving.
To whoever needs, right?
Yeah,
What about if he's a male and she's a female? If I'm philanthropic, would I also give to females and not just males because I'm a male?
yeah.
Okay. And you already said that I would give to other ethnic groups, even though they're not my ethnic group. What about my language? What if they don't speak English? Does a philanthropist give to people only who speak his language or her language?
No,
Hmm. Okay. What about if they're not from my country?
no, still give.
You would still give? Wow, that's a lot of philanthropy. That's a lot of love for giving right there. All right, so you got the idea. All right. But I don't think that the average person would give you that answer. I think the average person would just say, because I have a mind, or, you know, I don't know what makes me human. I mean, I'm human. I'm a living being, but so is a bee and a caterpillar and a turtle. So there are a lot
We
of
have a
things.
we have a soul. They don't.
Oh, you're going deep now. We're going to get to that point in a moment. We have a soul and they don't, at least not the way we know soul, right? They may have something else that they communicate with on that frequency level, but we don't believe it's what we have been gifted with. So very good. All right. So keep these words in mind: being humane. That also means being merciful, being giving, the love for giving, being kind. That's why humans are also called mankind, right? Or humankind, being kind, gentle, polite, being learned, refined, civilized. Are there people who are not learned and who are not, kind and gentle and civilized?
Yeah.
Would you consider them to be human if this is the meaning for human? It's a tricky kind of question, ain't it? An uncivilized person who is showing the characteristics of being not gentle, not polite, abrupt, rude, cruel, stupid in their behavior, not learned, not refined. They do things in the public that you probably wouldn't even do in private. And being uncivilized, people that you can't even trust to be around, because if you leave your wallet at the table or your watch in the bathroom, they're not going to be the ones to return it to you. Are they also human? What would you say? Yeah, that takes some thinking about, right?
Yes, but no.
Explain.
So let's say this person is a human. Like, so I heard this once, and I think it's from Dr. Omar or something, like a lawyer or something. He
Mm-hmm.
said that in in the in law school, the definition of human, it says to go look at the definition of monster.
Yeah.
When and you go there, and it's like a destroyer, something like that, one that causes havoc,
Yeah.
something like that. But like in like Beauty and the Beast, um, the beauty was stuck there, in that place, that mansion. But after, and the monster that thing, whatever it was. Then after a while, the monster, the beauty, got fond of it because of its personality instead of its look. Then after a while, um, the beauty gave the monster a kiss, and then it became a man.
Mm.
It's like, so a person, like a bad person or something like that, but something like law school or something, be considered a monster. Some one that causes havoc, stuff like that. So like it takes a human, or it's like you need some intervention to make the person a human. You need a polite, gentle person teach
human.
some other monster how to be polite and gentle and kind, learned, smart, something like that.
Okay. You're making a lot of progress, young man. Let me go back to my notes. Hold on. I'm loving the way you're making progress in these concepts. You even invented your own word, a human. No separation in between those words. A human, like amoral, apolitical, right? Atheist. Okay. So we've gone through the dictionary meaning for human or human. And we know it has a lot to do with being civilized in your behavior, being polite in the way that you treat yourself and others, being a person who's attracted to knowledge, wanting to be learned. So let's look at what it says about the word man. Continue to read.
Sometimes connected with the root men, to think, which could make the ground sense man, who has intelligence.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, most people won't pay attention to what this is actually saying. They're saying that man and men have nothing to do with biology, has nothing to do with you being a male species. That makes you different from the female species. They're saying that if you are a man or belonging to the community of beings that are called men, you belong there only because you love to think. You've learned to think, to use your mind. Okay? So let's look at the explanation. I'm going to read this part. We normally associate being a man with being a male. As you can see, these terms have nothing to do with being a male or female and have everything to do with how we think. So think is the operative word, the main word that we want to keep in mind whenever we're talking about the word man. Man is a thinker. Okay? The word man means mind, and the mind is neither male nor female gender. The mind is not a gender. The body is a gender. The biology contains gender parts, but the mind doesn't. So whether that mind is in a male or female body, it doesn't determine how far that mind can go in terms of its exploration and gathering of information and all of the other things that come along with the mind. So that word man, as we said, means mind, and the mind is neither male nor female, but the mind, however, does operate on a masculine and feminine level of expression. So masculine and feminine do not necessarily mean male and female. Male and female are talking about your gender. You were born a boy, so you are a male gender. A female is going to be born a female, and therefore she is of the female gender. Gender refers to the genes that are operating in your body, your genetics. And there's a certain part of your genetics that are coded for you being a boy, a male. And it's going to give you certain boy body parts. It's going to give a girl certain female body parts. And that's your genes doing that. That's what makes you one gender or the other, male gender, female gender. But that doesn't necessarily determine these words that we're calling masculine and feminine. Those are principles. We'll talk about that in a different class. When we talk about masculine and feminine now, we're not going to be talking about males and females. We're going to be talking about principles of expression. Masculine principle, feminine principle. We've talked about that before, but you'd have to go back on some of the earlier classes to catch up on that. Okay. So masculine has to do with thinking. It's a principle in the mind. Masculine has to do with thinking. Feminine has to do with remembering. Repeat that back to me, please.
Masculine has to do with thinking. Feminine has to do with remembering.
Exactly. So when you think, your mind has to go out, has to go outside of your body and look at something, touch something, smell something, taste something, listen to something. But all of those somethings are outside of you and your body. You hear the television in the next room, that's your mind going out. You're thinking about what you're hearing. Wow, what program is that? Is that my favorite TV show on right now? Right? So your mind has to go out. Anything that goes out is masculine. Anything that comes in is feminine. And the things that come into your mind, if they come into your mind often enough, you're going to remember it. What do you see as a smaller word in the word remember?
Remember.
Yeah. And what is a member?
Remember, someone that has to do with something like, it's like, this is a member of our club.
Exactly.
Somebody part of this place.
Right. Exactly. So if you meet on Friday evening, all of the members meet at that same club every Friday evening. And let's say you have 20 members of your club and 15 show up and the other 5 didn't give you a reason for not showing up. You're going to be concerned, right? Somebody's going to pick up the phone, their cell phone. They're going to say, Johnny's not here. Yeah, Dorothy's not here either. You have Dorothy's number? Yeah, I have her. You have Johnny's? Yeah, give them a call and see where they are. We just want to make sure they're okay. So when you call them up and they say, oh man, yeah, I'm just running late, I'm on my way. And the other one says, well, I'm not going to make it today. I'm kind of ill, I'm feeling kind of sick. And I didn't even have enough strength to really pick up the phone. And I was hoping I'd be all right, but I see I'm not all right. See? So now you know what happened to the other members. Now, if they end up coming and they come to the club or they join the club by phone maybe or something like that, or Zoom like we're doing right now, you are remembering because you're gathering the members that should be present.
Regrouping.
That's another fantastic way of putting it. Regrouping. You could also say recollecting because you're collecting the members from different parts of the city, right? So you're recollecting, but when we say recollect something, it also means to remember something, right? They asked the guy that they just arrested, they say, where were you on the night of blah, blah, blah? Yeah, I don't remember. Or he might say, I don't recollect. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you where I was. You'll know I was there and committed the crime. So he doesn't want to recollect or remember. All right. So that's the feminine part of the mind that remembers. That part of your mind, it brings past memories of things that happened. It brings those memories back to the forebrain, to the conscious mind. It recollects them and represents them to the conscious mind. And you say, oh yeah, I remember when I was 7 years old. You weren't thinking about it before that, but you're remembering, you're recollecting those thoughts from when you were 7 years old or 10 years old, right? And you're bringing them back to one space. So that's what the feminine principle does. As you know, a female that becomes a mother is now responsible for all of the children that she produces. And very often she likes to have all of the children in one place, whether it's for the family reunion, even if people grow up and get married and have children of their own, once a year, it's usually the mother or the grandmother who wants the whole family to come back together to recollect, because she wants to keep her memories intact of when they were growing up and the things she did for them and the things they did with her. So she's remembering.
And it applies to them. See, like whenever like my mother, there's a special event or something, or like when I was a kid, when there was a bunch of when I do little cute stuff, she would like take videos and pictures of it to remember it. She would always have these albums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, but the males or anything, they don't really they're not really concerned for that.
No,
They're concerned of what's
their
happening.
concern is out there. What can I get from
They're
out
concerned
there?
about what's going to happen next.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
They're
a word
thinking
for
ahead.
that. There's a word
They're
for
one
that.
step ahead.
Yeah. I'm going to show you the word for that since you mentioned it. The word is linear thinking. That's what males are concerned with. Linear. Do you know what linear
Future
means?
thinking.
Yeah. But literally, what does this
Straight.
mean? It's in the word.
Straight.
Yeah.
Line.
Yeah. Line. Yeah. They think in a line. That's generally how most men think. I know I do. I think in both ways, but mostly as a male who has certain responsibilities to do things for my family, like make sure there's food on the table, right? Make sure the mortgage or the rent is paid, make sure nobody's at the door threatening my family, right? So I'm in the front of the line when it comes to doing those things. And I have to think in sequences, like what am I doing this Friday? Or is the rent due this Friday or this Monday? Do I have it? So I have to think in sequences, like in blocks, like lines. Do this, then after that's finished, do that. Then after that's finished, to do the other thing. Then after the other thing, then it might be time to get paid again, you see? So men generally have been conditioned by circumstances to do things sequentially or in linear form. Women or females have been conditioned. And when I say conditioned, I don't mean like God said, thou shalt do this necessarily. I'm saying that Allah put certain things in the fitrah of nature that because we do them over and over again, those became our assigned roles on the most part. Doesn't mean that a woman can't go and work and bring home a check and start home business. It doesn't mean any of that, because the mind is neither male nor female. It's what you condition it to be and do and think about and feel about. That's what's going to determine the activities that that person is responsible for. So traditionally is what we're talking about, because men have done this in most parts of the world over and over again. Then they became the linear part of the species that thinks in lines, in dates to come, AC, BC. Men put all of those terms on the calendar. Okay. The woman, though, go ahead.
It's like, so when the boys, they were like in Indian American tribe, they would stay with the mother for like a few, like 4 years or something. I don't know, not 4 years, until some particular age. Then they would move to the men, so that it could become a man. If it stayed with a woman, it would get a feminine. It would get a feminine, thinking. It would remember instead of think.
Very well put. And there are a lot of tribes like that. There are a lot of ethnic groups like that. I know in Africa, in many parts of Africa, that's how it is. The child will stay with the mother whether the child is male or female, they'll stay under the mother's leadership until they turn around 12 years old, 12 or 13 years old, and then they're going to automatically be put into the environment of the males who are going to teach them how to hunt. They're going to teach them how to do other things that make them more responsible for running a household if they happen to have children themselves, get married and so forth. So they're in a training kind of process. So yeah, so the leadership passes from the mother when the child is very young over to the men, the father and the other men in the tribe once they turn a certain age. In the Jewish religion, it's the same thing. When they become 13, they have a ceremony called a bar mitzvah for the boys that initiates them into adulthood. Same thing with the females. They call it a bat mitzvah, B-A-T, mitzvah. And after that ceremony, they're responsible for everything that a grown woman is responsible for, including if it's a male, he has to learn how to fight for his tribe also against enemies that might want to come and take their stuff. All right. So in the masculine word, there is that word line as a hint. It's right there, line. Okay. But in the word for feminine, there's not the word line. What word is that?
9.
Okay. So let's look at that number. 9. Let's make it a little bigger. So she's not a line. She's a circle to begin with, because you begin drawing the number 9 up here, right? Nobody begins down here. Let me make it a little bit bigger.